Today you will learn about segregation and discrimination by Jason Suarez, Travis Mute, and Seth Beebe. In the South, segregated areas started in 1896, where African Americans went to different schools and through different doors, seatings, and went through different water fountains. During 1896, Plessy went to court saying that segregated seats was against the 14th Amendment. This was known as the Plessy versus Ferguson case. The court ruled that segregation seating wasn't against the 14th Amendment. The South used a thing called poll tax, where they made it to where African Americans had to pay to vote, and since they were poor, they couldn't vote. Another thing that the South did was that they had to take a literacy test to vote, and since barely any of them had any education, they failed the test. Another thing that the South did was the grandfather clause, which made it to where someone who had an ancestor or grandfather that was able to vote before 1867, they could vote. But since African Americans weren't freed until 1870, they couldn't vote. Webb Du Bois strongly encouraged African Americans to reject segregation in the South. He created the NAACP, which had a huge role in ending segregation in the South. Other than segregation, African Americans faced killings such as lynchings. Idea B. Wells was an African American journalist. When three of her friends were lynched, she started an anti-lynching campaign, which started the fight to end lynching. African Americans weren't the only ones facing discrimination. Chinese immigrants who came to the East in the 1800s also faced discrimination. Chinese laborers would receive less pay than whites who did the same work as they did. In Rock Springs during 1885, white miners refused to work with Chinese miners, so they went to town and shot all the Chinese and burned all the Chinese houses. 28 Chinese people were killed and 15 were wounded during the attack. So, what was a poll tax? Who created the NAACP? And what was a grandfather clause?